So here we're going to start with the material for this week, and we're talking about applying the relationship between graphs and linear equation. So we're going to talk about graphs, and we're going to talk about also linear equation. We're going to talk about applications also. So first, when you talk about graphs, you need to know how the graph is, how the point and coordinates are represented. We're going to talk about rectangular coordinate system. So many of you are familiar with the rectangular coordinate system. We have the x-axis, so the horizontal is the x-axis, and the vertical is the y-axis. And if you need to find coordinates of point, let's say I want to get the coordinates of point A, first, or any coordinates of any point, they are represented with x, comma, y. So always the first number is x, the second number is y, always. So if I want to get the coordinates of point A, first from the point I'm going to go to the x-axis, so the number there is 2. And then from the point I'm going to go straight to the perpendicular to the y-axis, and the number there is 3. So the point A has coordinates 2 and 3. Yes? That's how you do it. If I want to get the coordinates of point C, I'm going to go to the x first, which is negative 2. So C, not BC, has coordinates negative 2, and then I'm going to go to the y-axis, and the number there is negative 3. So this is how you get the coordinates. Here they're asking about coordinates of point G, and the point G is right here, so I'm going to go to the x first, and the number there is negative 5, and then you're going to go to the y, and the number there is also negative 5. So that's what you're going to put here. The first number is negative 5, and the second number is also negative 5, which is okay. Okay? So that's how you do the coordinates of point. Now, let me give you just a few more coordinates. The point E has coordinates 0, 0, and the point E is called origin because point E is the intersection between x-axis and y-axis. So number 1, the answer for number 1, it says the coordinate axis intersect at the origin. That's what you're going to pick here, the origin. Now, let me explain what these terms mean. Quadrant, I'll explain in a minute. X-axis is the horizontal axis, y-axis is the vertical axis. Intersect means cross each other. Okay, so the answer here is origin. And let me explain what quadrant means. Quadrant is when you have the x-axis and the y-axis, they cross each other, and they're dividing the plane to 4 pieces. And these are the quadrants. So you have x-axis, you have the y-axis, you have the origin here, and then the area over here is called first quadrant. So this is the first quadrant. The area over, over here, this area is called second quadrant. And then you have third quadrant and fourth quadrant, the same way, the area here. So you have first, second, third, fourth going counterclockwise. Okay? So these are the quadrants. These are the 4 pieces divided from the x-axis and the y-axis. Make sense? Any questions so far? Everybody good? So that's how you do somebody's hungry here. Okay. Lakeisha, you're making pancakes? Oh no. Give us some. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, guys, you need to listen. Now, this is how you do coordinates of x-axis, y-axis, coordinates of point, quadrant. Then we're going to talk about equation of line. So equation of line has x and y and numbers. Everything is linear, not quadratic. And what you're going to do, I'm going to show you the formula sheet, have all the different type of equations. And the formula sheet is located, so when you go to your week 1, so the formula sheet is in week 1, before class folder. I'm just showing it for the video, so make sure everybody knows what it is. Week 1, before class, or for online, it's called, the before class folder is called lecture notes and activities. So this is the formula for the midterm exam. That's what you need to open, and I have it right here. So this is the formula sheet you can use, and I'm going to explain the equation of line. So we're going to talk about everything pretty much. Last week this was week 1, before the quadratic formula, week 1, and we're going to talk about all these equations today. So this is week 2. All of this, starting from distance, slope, all of this, all the way to here. So this is week 2. And then this should be week 3. We're going to talk about quadratic equation of parabola next week. Okay, so now we're talking about equation of line, and this is equation of line. So the equation of line, there are two forms. We have slope-intercept form, standard form. The slope-intercept looks like y equals mx plus b. This is the formula. We're going to talk about that. Standard form is this one, which is ax plus by equals c. The difference between these two forms is the first one, the slope-intercept, looks like y equals something. Y is by itself. The second one, the standard form, you have x and y equals number. So the x and y in the same side. That's the difference between those two. And it's easy to go from form to form. We're going to do that right now. Also here we have equation of horizontal line and equation of vertical line. We're going to talk about that. So horizontal and vertical line, they have just a little bit different equation. Horizontal line looks like this. Vertical line looks like this. Okay? So these are the equations. And we're going to come back here later on and we're going to talk about this a little more. Okay? But right now, just to know that equation of line have two forms, and going from form to form, that's what you're going to do right now. Okay? And actually, you can answer number 2. The graph of equation x equals a is which one? It says here, x equals a is what kind of line? Vertical line. Okay? So if they ask you questions like this, you can just go straight to the formula sheet, and the answer is right there. X equals a is a vertical line, and that's my answer for number 2. So when you click here, you're gonna pick vertical line. Vertical, the last one. Now let me explain what is diagonal. Diagonal means like if you have a square, when you connect two opposite angles, that's gonna be diagonal. Parallel means two parallel lines, they never cross each other. Perpendicular lines like x and y, they cross each other in 90 degrees. Horizontal I show you, and I show you vertical also. Okay? So the answer for number 2 is a vertical line. Okay? And just one more time. Perpendicular lines look like, so these are perpendicular, cross each other with 90-degree angle, so the same way like x and y. And these are parallel. So these are perpendicular, and these are parallel. Okay? So these are some of the answers here just to explain. Okay? And the answer is vertical line. Okay. Then after that we did 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go to number 4, which is actually number 5. These two questions talking about equation where you have two equations given and the two equations they're in standard form. Because if you compare with the formula sheet, the equation is x minus 4y equals 19. And this is exactly the standard form. The standard form has x and y in the same side equals number. So what they want us to do, they want us to go from standard to slope-intercept because they want us to get y by itself. Okay? That's what they're asking. Solve for y. Solve for y means get y by itself. And how you solve for y? The same way we did last week. So we need to get y by itself. So what you need to do, you need to move x over. We're going to subtract x in both sides. And x cancel. And you're going to get negative, I'm going to write it here, negative 4y equals 19 minus x. You don't combine them, you just copy them. And then what is the next step? What you need to get 1y by itself. You're going to divide by the number in front of y, which is negative 4. So divide both sides by negative 4. So this cancel, and you get y equals 19 minus x over negative 4. But now, if you want to make the equation look exactly like the formula, so the formula is y equals number x plus number, because it's n is a number, and b is a number. So if you want to do that, if you want to get it in this form, you need to split this fraction. And you're splitting it because both of those 19 and x, they're over negative 4. You can write it the same way, like 19 over negative 4 minus x over negative 4, right? You split it. 19 over negative 4, negative x, minus x over negative 4. And then you reduce it. See negative, see this is invisible, negative 1x. And you can write it 19 over negative 4. You can move the negative in front. So it's negative 19 over 4. And then negative 1 over negative 4 is going to be positive 1 over 4 and keep the x in the end. So this is the equation in slope-intercept form. And this is what you're going to put for answer here. Now, when you go to web assign, it's going to give you the math path so you can enter the fractions. I'm going to just box it and just point out where you're going to put the answer. Okay? So that's how you get y by itself. Any questions on this? Yes, we're going to do one more time right now. We're going to do the next one is the same way. Okay, so the next one is the same way, so we're going to do it one more time. So how you do that? You want to get y by itself. So I'm going to go to the next one. Number 5 is the same way. So we have 10x minus 5y equals 26. This is standard form. And you want to get slope-intercept of the equation. So from the standard form, we're gonna, first you're gonna move the x over. So you're gonna subtract 10x in both sides, minus 10x. So 10x minus 10x cancel, so you have negative 5y equals, and you're gonna copy. You can put x in front if you want negative 10x, or you can put 26 in front, doesn't matter. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna put negative 10x plus 26. You copy those because they're not the same. You can't combine x and numbers. They're not like terms. So you're gonna bring them down only. And then you're gonna divide by the number in front of x. So minus 5, you're gonna divide everything by negative 5. Here, if you want, you can just divide it like this, negative 5 and negative 5. So that way it's easier to reduce. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 is going to give you 1y equals negative 10 divided by negative 5 is going to be 2x. And then 26 and 5, they don't reduce, but positive and negative is going to give me negative, and you're going to keep it like 26 over 5. And this is my standard form. This is how you're going to leave your answer. Okay? So after you solve it, and you're solving it like this, you move the x over and divide by the number in front of y. And then you reduce it. Okay? So that's how you solve it. Any questions? How the number become positive? Okay, thank you for asking that. So if you have negative and negative, when you multiply or divide two negatives, when you have two negatives next to each other, that become positive. That's the rule. Yes, that's right, Jen. Two negative equal positive, yes. Okay? So that's how you get the standard form. So, from standard form, you go to slope-intercept form. And also, I'm just going to expand this. I'm just going to give you just a little bit. Something to look at the formula sheet. So here we have, if you look at the formula sheet, the number in front of x is called the slope, and the number by itself is y-intercept. That's what it's called. Okay, so the number in front of x is m, which is the slope, and the number by itself with no x is called the y-intercept. Okay, so now we need to talk about the slope. What is the slope? If you have a line, you have four different cases of the line. You can have increasing line, you can have decreasing line, you can have horizontal or vertical line. So the slope is a number which tell me what type of line it is. Okay? So I'm gonna talk about that. Okay? So how you do that? Are you guys following me? So the slope, it's a number, and this is the formula. We're going to talk about the formula later on. It's a number which tell me, is it increasing line, is it decreasing line, is it horizontal or vertical? Okay, so these are the four different cases, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw the lines. Okay, in the chart, you guys still talking about positive and negative. Okay, if you have two negatives that give you positive, that's right. And Mario suggests how to remember. Love-hate relationship. Love is positive, hate is negative. That's good. Okay. Love to love is positive. Hate to hate is positive. Love to hate is negative. Hate to love is negative. Yeah, you can use that. Okay, so always remember, if you have the same sign, it's positive. If you have different signs, it's negative. So if you have the same ideas, that's how I remember it. If they're two the same, positive and positive, they're the same. So that's how I remember it. If you have positive and positive or negative and negative, they're the same, and have a positive answer. And if they're different, like positive and negative or negative positive, doesn't matter, they're different. That's why they have differences negative. Okay? You can remember it like this also. Okay? So this is about positive and negative. Are you guys, everybody good with positive and negative? So you can move on to slope. Tyson, are you okay with this? So we can move on. And you ask me who made this rule. Okay, it's a rule. Who made it? I don't know who made it. Okay, you ready to go? Yes. Okay, so we're moving on to the next one where we're going to talk about the slope. And the slope tells me what type of line I have. I have positive, negative, zero, or undefined, and that gives me increasing, decreasing, horizontal, or vertical line. So if I have increasing line, it's going to go like this. The decreasing line is going to go down, left to right. Horizontal looks like this, and vertical looks like this. So these are the four different type of lines, and the slope tells me what type of line it is. So if it's positive slope, the line is going up. If it's negative, the line is going down. If the slope is zero, it's a horizontal line, and D and E means undefined. It's a vertical line. Okay? So we're going to talk about that in the next questions. Okay? Also, let me show you there's a good video how you remember this. So when you go to week 2, and then when you go to additional resources, and you're going to watch the first video. So the first video tells me a little bit rule or how to remember this. So it's kind of something related to a picture, which is gonna show us how to do it, how to remember it. Okay, so I'm gonna just get the video going on for a minute. It's like a short video. So let's watch this first.
Welcome to the adventure of Slope Dude. Meet Slope Dude. He loves to ski. We are going to follow him and he'll teach us some important aspects of slope. This is the course he's skiing today. Again, what he says will teach us about slope. You need to remember that Slope Dude always skis toward the right or eastward. When he starts out, he's going uphill. It's hard work. He says puff, puff, positive as he goes up the mountainside. Puff, puff, positive. Puff, puff, positive. Puff, puff, positive. Now he's at the top. It was puff, puff, positive all the way up the mountain. But now he can look forward to the downhill. On the way down the mountain, he says, nice, negative. Nice, negative. And now, after the downhill, he's in for the hardest part of the ski run, the long, flat part. He says, this is zero fun. This is zero fun. This is zero fun. This is zero fun. And as he finishes the flat part, he doesn't see well ahead, and all of a sudden, he comes to the edge of a cliff. It's straight down. So frightened is he that he says the worst curse word possible in math and in algebra. Undefined. This has been the adventure of Slope Dude. Remember always what he said during his ski trip. Up the hill or up the slope, he said, puff, puff, positive. On his downhill run, he said, nice, negative. On the long, flat part of the course, he said, this is zero fun. And finally, when he went over the vertical cliff and went straight down, he yelled the worst curse word of math and algebra. Undefined! The uphill is a slope with a positive number. The downhill is a slope with a negative number. The flat part is a slope of zero. And the straight up and down or vertical part is undefined. This has been the adventure of Slope Dude. Thanks for viewing.
Okay, so everybody understand that? How to remember? So we're going to continue with the next number 6, where we have to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So what that means is if I have a straight line, so let's say I'm going to draw a little picture here. So let's say I have my x and y axis, and I have let's say my line looks like this. Whatever you cross the x-axis, it's called x-intercept. And whatever you cross the y-axis is called y-intercept. Okay? So now, you have x-intercept, you have y-intercept. And if you look at the coordinates we talked about in the beginning, if you have coordinates, so let's say if I take the point F, it's in the x-axis, point F. Point F has coordinates -4, 0. So any point in the x-axis is going to have the second coordinate 0. And if I look at any point in the y-axis, so if I pick this point here, and on the y-axis is going to have coordinate 0, number. So that's going to be the rule for x-intercept and y-intercept. And that rule is also in the formula sheet. In the formula sheet down here, it says x-intercept, y-intercept. So when you find the x-intercept, always the second number is 0, because remember the first one is x, the second one is y. So if you're talking about x-intercept, the y is going to be 0. If you're talking about y-intercept, the first number is going to be 0. Okay? So that's how you find it. So this is the rule to find x-intercept and y-intercept. So that's exactly what you're going to follow. So going back to number 6, that's the one you're doing. So when you find x-intercept, remember the first coordinate is x, the second is y. So if I find x-intercept, then the second number, the y, is going to be 0. If I find the y-intercept, the first number is going to be 0. So half of the problem is already solved. I have 2 numbers already. They're always going to be like that. So always when you find x-intercept, the y is 0. Always when you find the y-intercept, the x-coordinate is 0. Always. No matter what. Okay? And then how you find the rest of the numbers here. If I want to find the x-intercept, I'm doing the x-intercept now. I'm going to replace, using the equation, I'm going to replace y 0. I'm going to follow the equation. I have x minus 0, that's my y, equals 2. And x minus 0 is x equals 2. And that's going to be the number for x. X equals 2. Okay, any questions about the x-intercept? Okay, no? Then we're going to go to the y-intercept. If I want to find the y-intercept, I'm going to replace x in the equation with 0. So it's going to be 0 is my x minus y equals 2. You follow the same equation. Okay, 0 disappear. You have -1 in front of the y. So what you do to get y by itself? You're going to divide by -1 both sides. So -1 divided by -1 to negative give you positive. So y equals -2. So that's what you're going to put in the place of y, the second one. So the y-intercept is 0, -2. Okay? So that's how you find x-intercept and y-intercept. Everybody good? Everybody good? Any questions? Patricia, can you tell me okay, thank you. The mute yourself, please, if you don't talk to me. Okay, so any questions? So finding the x-intercept, we plug it in 0 for y. Finding the y-intercept, 0 for x. Okay, Tyson, where are you going to find all the rules? They're going to be in the formula sheet. That's why I put this formula sheet for you guys. Use the formula sheet. Okay? So, any questions on number 6? How to find x-intercept, y-intercept? Okay. We're going to go to the next one. We're going to grab this and then we're going to take a little break. So, number 7, we're going to graph it. Before I graph it, I have to do the parentheses to simplify to see what equation I have and how I'm going to graph it. So, I have 5 plus 4y equals 4 parentheses x plus y. So, what I'm doing first, I'm going to do the parentheses. I'm going to multiply 4 and x, 4 and y. So, that will give me 5 plus 4y. I'm going to write this equals multiplying 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times y is 4y. And then from here, we want to get the x is in the same side, y in the same side. So I'm going to subtract 4y first. And you see y is cancel out. So when you cancel out y, what is left? 4x equals 5. And then looks like this equation have no y. So if there is no y in the equation, I'm going to show you in the formula sheet what is that. If you have only x equals, there is no y. So if you have only x equals, you're going to have what equation? Vertical line. You have to see what is x equals. So here I need to finish and solve x equals. So when I get x equals, I'm going to divide by 4 to get 1x. So I'm going to get x equals 5 over 4. And this is my equation. So the given equation technically is x equals 5 over 4. So how you graph it? And this is how web assign looks like in the graph. So I'm going to click at this line here. You're going to click on this first. And then you're going to click at 5 over 4 is 1 point something. So I'm going to click here from 1.25 and another point 1.25 and you're going to connect it. And that's going to be the straight line. Okay? And I can show you that how to do that exactly in web assign. So it's going to be a vertical line going through x equals 1.25. That's right. 5 over 4 is 1.25. Okay? I'm going to show exactly how to do that in web assign. Okay, so here in web assign, I'm going to show you how to graph points and how to graph a straight line. So for example, my number 6 in lab 2, if I need to graph a point, I'm going to click on the point. I'm going to annotate first to show you what I'm doing and then I'm going to do it. So I'm going to click here first at the point because I'm going to graph a point. That's what it says. And then I'm going to go -9 at x, -9. And then I'm going to go to 4, but I'm not clicking. And I'm going to see where they cross each other. So this is where I'm going to click. Okay? And I'm going to do it right now. So I'll show you what to do and I'm going to do it right now. So I'm going to click at the point and then I'm going to go -9 and a little bit up to 4 and I'm going to click there, right there. Now sometimes when I share it doesn't work. Let me fix it. So here you go. If you click it, I'm going to do it now. So when I click at the point, and then I go to -9, I don't click, I just point with -9 and then 4 and click there. I'm going to click right there. Oh, it's not working again. Huh? Okay, so it's working now. So when I click at negative, see, I click in different place. Okay, so let's say you don't click exactly where you need to click. And if you see here next to delete, it says 0.1. So when you click on that, it's going to give you the coordinates. So if you click somewhere else, you can fix it from here. So it's -9 and 4. So this is how you can fix it if it's not quite. If you click, be careful, it's sensitive. If you click into points, it's gonna give you 2 points. So if you click in the wrong place, you can just come here, click at the point, and fix the coordinates, -9 and 4. Okay? And that's my graph. That's how you graph a point. Now, they also asked me which quadrant is that. If you remember, we had the first quadrant is here, the second one is gonna be the point -9 and 4. Okay? So this is second quadrant. Okay? The same way you do in number 7. You click at the point, and then the coordinates are 0, 9. So 0x, so from the 0, 0, you go up and click at 9 in the y-axis. And if you click here at point 1, the coordinates are exactly 0, 9. Okay? And that's it. That's how you graph it. Now, this point 0, 9 is not in one of the quadrants, it's in the y-axis. So you're going to click at y-axis. So that's how you graph points. Now let me show you how to graph line. So number 8, we have to get y by itself here. So in order to get y by itself, I'm gonna solve it first, y by itself, and then we're gonna graph it. So I have y minus 2x equals 6. I'm gonna add 2x first, and that's gonna give me y by itself, right? And you're gonna get y equals, I'm gonna put 2x first, and then plus 6. Okay? And this is gonna be the answer for y equals. So y equals, I'm gonna plug it in, 2x plus 6. And how you graph it? You can find the x-intercept and y-intercept and put the 2 points and make the graph. So let me show you that method. So I can use the first equation or the second equation, doesn't matter. Finding the x-intercept, I'm gonna replace y with 0. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna use the first equation here, the first. So when y is 0, I'm gonna have 0 minus 2x equals 0. I'm sorry, equals 6. Going back. 0 minus 2x equals 6. And then you're gonna divide by -2. So that will give me x equals -3. So it's gonna be, the point is gonna be negative. So the x-intercept is -3 and 0. That's my x-intercept. And then finding the y-intercept, I'm gonna write it here, y-intercept. I'm gonna replace x with 0. So it's gonna be y minus 2 times 0 equals 6. 2 times 0 is 0. So I'm gonna get y equals 6. So the point is gonna be 0, 6. So these are my x-intercept and y-intercept. 0, 6 and -3, 0. And this is how you graph it. I'm gonna show you how to graph it and then I'm gonna do it. So first I'm gonna click here in the straight line because I'm graphing a line, not a point. Then I'm gonna click at these 2 points. I'm gonna click on those points. And then I'm going to click here again to graph it. Okay? So now let's do it. I'm going to click here. When I click, there are three options. Click at the first one with the arrows point two ways. The second one is a ray, and the third one is a segment. We're graphing a line, the first one. And then you're going to click at 0, 6, which is here, the y-intercept, and then you click at negative 3, 0, it's right here. Okay? And then you see, it's going to connect by itself with this light blue line. And if you click at line 1 in the side, it's going to give you first point and second point. So if you click somewhere else, if you make mistake, the points are going to be here and you can correct them. So the first point is 0, 6. The second is negative 3, 0. That's exactly what I have. Okay? So this is how you graph it. That's how you graph a straight line on WebAssign. Okay, now any questions? Okay, so we're going to stop here for now. And on Thursday, I'm going to finish the lecture. So number 8 and the rest of it, we're going to finish on Thursday.